it's Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I am here today with a debt snowball update, and I am so excited because we paid off the Lowe's card. Woohoo! I'm so happy to be able to say goodbye to another credit card. We started with around 16 credit cards back at the start of 2020. We have been rapidly paying them off, and here we are today saying goodbye to another one. We are down, you guys, to just 2 cards left. I can see the end. Oh, it's coming. We are going to have all of this debt paid off by the end of 2021. I can feel it in my bones, and that feels so good to be able to say. For now, let's focus on celebrating this win. Lowe's card was officially paid off on May 4th. I made the last payment on May 4th when my husband got paid. We paid the last $300 that we owed on this card, and now it's gone for good. So it took us just under 2 months to pay off $2,698.51. Bye-bye. All right. So we're going to go ahead and color this chart in. This last little chunk was paid in May. So for May, the colors I have chosen to represent May are this kind of peachy color. This is the Zebra Mild Liner in the color orange. And we also have the Zebra Mild Liner in this pink color, which is appropriately titled pink. So really quickly, I'm going to color this guy in. We're going to do a little happy dance that we paid this off, and then we're going to flip the page and talk about what we're going to be tackling next and what our strategy is. So let's get this colored in. I'm so happy to be able to have this completely paid off. I'm going to turn my page a little bit here so it's a little bit easier to color. And we're going to color this in. So this color is definitely more fluorescent than I remembered. I was expecting it to be more peachy like that, but that's fine. We'll make it work. So this is so satisfying to be able to reach the end of this page, get it all colored in, and no longer have to be burdened by this debt. This Lowe's card was a card that we used quite a bit when we were remodeling our kitchen back in, was that 2019 or 2018? Something like that. I don't know. The years all blur together, don't they? So knowing that that is officially paid off feels so good. We're no longer paying the ridiculously high interest on this card, and that's a huge relief. So I'm going to finish getting this colored in really quickly, and then we are going to talk about what is next and my strategy, because we are switching things up a little bit for the foreseeable future here, for at least the immediate future. So give me just a second and I'll come back with a whole new chart for us to get started. Ta-da! We did it, you guys. Goodbye, Lowe's card. All right, so another, $2,600 down. We have just 2 cards left. We have one more Lowe's card, which is my Lowe's card. This was my husband's Lowe's card. My card was used to pay for our new refrigerator. We just had to use that back in February to buy a new fridge. Luckily, that card is on a 0 interest promotion until February of 2022, so we're not paying any interest on it, which feels really good. The other card that we have is the card that we are going to be tackling next, which is a Walmart card. And this Walmart card was the second credit card I ever applied for. I applied and got a Capital One card first, and then just a couple weeks after that, I applied for the Walmart card. And that card has had a balance on it ever since I opened it. and it's got quite a high balance, and we're paying ridiculously high interest on it. So I'm really excited to start tackling that. It is our biggest debt in terms of credit cards anyway. We do have a car payment and a camper payment that we are making, but those are things that we're kind of, it's like debt that we're okay with. These credit cards are what we're really focused on tackling. So it is the biggest one that we currently have, and I am so ready to start tackling it. So let me pull out a new chart. I get all of my credit card charts here from debtfreecharts.com. They are completely free. They're a really fun way to visually show, you know, the debt journey. I have so many of these that I have filled up as we have slowly paid off our debt over the course of the last year and a half or so. And it's just so nice to visually be able to look at all of these charts and see how far we've come. We have this Amazon one that we have filled up. Let's see, what else do we have here that I've paid? We had the Discover card that we paid off. This was Christmas of 2020. This is Capital One that we paid off. This is a State Farm Visa card that we had that we paid off. This was the chart that I used to track the amount of money that we had left when we paid off our mortgage. That was something we accomplished so far in this debt-free journey. So looking back at all of these charts and just seeing all of the progress that we have made feels so good. I didn't start these debt-free charts when I started my debt-free journey. It was a while before I started using these. I wish I had started from the very beginning with these because it's so satisfying to be able to flip through and see just how far we've come. So I've got another one to add to my collection of finished charts, and now we're going to, like I said, pull out a fresh chart for our Walmart card. Give me just a second. All right, so I went and printed out a fresh credit card debt-free chart. I'm going to put a direct link to this specific chart in my description box, as well as just debt-free charts in general. Highly recommend. But I printed this out on 28-pound paper, which is the paper that I use for all of my printables because it's a little bit thicker than your average computer paper. Holds up nicely to all of the coloring. I'm going to get this punched using my big arc punch. This is the punch that I use to punch all of my pages. And we're just going to punch this really quickly and get it put in, and then we are going to start adding in our numbers. So, got that punched. And here we go. So across the top, I always like to write in, obviously, the credit card that the chart correlates with, which is, as I mentioned, a Walmart card, which is now through Capital One. When I first opened this card, it was through Synchrony, but they changed hands in the amount of time that it took me to accumulate all of this debt. So now it is a Capital One card, technically. That's neither here nor there. The terms are all the same. And I'm going to go into my app and see exactly what the total is. This is always a little nerve-wracking to share with the world, but you know, it is what it is. So, my Walmart card has a balance currently of $4,366.63. That is the balance as of right now. And that is the balance we are going to focus on tackling. Now, I can tell you that this card is going to take us a little bit longer to pay off than some of the previous cards because we are slowing down, hitting the brakes just a little bit with our debt payoff plan. And that is because with that Discover card, you guys saw, or with that Lowe's card rather, we paid this off pretty darn quickly for the amount of income that we bring in and everything. Obviously, that's all subjective, right, based on your income and whatever, but this was pretty quick for us. So in order to pay this off as quickly as we did, we really put the squeeze on our budget in other ways. We contributed, ooh, that's a lot of extras there, extra syllables there. We contributed less money to our sinking funds while we were paying this card off, and we also ate quite a bit into our checking account cushion, or our buffer that we like to keep in our account, and we just really kind of squeezed ourselves dry coming up with the money to pay this off as quickly as we did. And because of that, there are other areas in our budget that are lacking. We need to be focusing on building up our sinking funds so that when the various things come up that we need to pay for with those sinking funds, we actually have the money. Because if we don't, what are we going to do? We're going to swipe a credit card, which is kind of counterintuitive to this whole process. So we were paying with that Lowe's card $233 every single week to that card. That was our debt snowball amount. Plus we were paying extra on top of that every week. And so for at least for the month of May, I don't know what's going to happen come June, but for May, we have decided to pause our debt snowball, which means that $233 we were paying every single week is not going to be paid to this Walmart card, at least in the month of May. Come June, we will reevaluate and see, you know, where we are with our sinking funds and our buffer and all of that. And then at that point, we may start our debt snowball up again. But for the month of May, we're not going to be doing that debt snowball. Now, that does not mean that we aren't going to pay anything to this credit card. We, of course, are going to continue to pay the minimum payment because that's a given. I think the minimum payment on this card is like $135 a month. So that for sure we're going to continue to pay. And in addition to that, every week we're going to pay a little something to this card, just not that $233. So I have been doing these credit card payoff challenges, is what I like to call them. Let me see if I can show you guys what they are. They're fun little games that I play essentially with myself to come up with an amount of money to pay to my credit card each week. So it's debt roulette here, where I spin a little roulette wheel, and whatever the arrow kind of lands on, that's how much I pay to the debt. There's also this Savopoly that I'm going to be doing in May to pay something towards this credit card. So with this one, I just roll a dice, go around the board, and the amount I land on correlates with how much I pay to that card. And then the other one that we're going to be doing in May still is a 52-week savings challenge, which for me isn't a savings challenge. I just pick a square, I color it in, and that's the amount of money that I pay to the credit card. And of course, now the credit card we're working on is the Walmart card. So I'm still going to be doing those 3 challenges every week. So I will be making some progress on this card. That amount of money that I come up with these challenges every week is the amount that I'm going to pay towards my credit card. But the debt snowball amount that I was paying, now I can't find that chart. There it is. Sorry, you guys. That debt snowball payment that I was making every week, that $233, is going to be paused. Instead, I'm going to focus that $200-ish every week on bulking our sinking funds up and taking care of the other responsibilities that we've kind of let go while we were focused so hard on paying off that debt. It's not good to put on blinders and focus too hard on one area of your budget, because then the other areas suffer. And that's a lesson I've learned. I'm going to be better balanced moving forward. But for now, because we focused on credit cards so much, we've got to ease up on paying off credit cards so we can focus on some other areas. And then hopefully, once everything is back in balance, we can move forward and split our extra money more wisely. So, what I need to do still for this video is write in my start date. So, the start date that we're going to start paying this card off is May 11th. That's when I will make my first payment to this card. Not as large of a payment as, you know, I typically would, but that's okay. We live and we learn. And I need to go in and do some math. So what I will do is I will take this credit card amount here. I will divide it by 50 because there are 50 lines here on this chart. And that will give me how much each of these lines is worth and give me a value to color whenever I do my debt snowball updates. So I'm going to do that off camera because my math skills suck, especially when there's a camera on me. But I will come back and show you guys the kind of completed chart. It'll be all set up and ready for, you know, tracking moving forward. So give me just a minute to do some math and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have done all of my math here. What I did was rounded up this 4,366 to 4,400 just to make it easy. Then I divided that by 50, and that meant that each of these lines was worth $88, except for this first one, of course, since we did some rounding up. This first line is worth a little bit less, but that's fine. It's really just a visual representation anyway. I don't get too caught up in semantics in terms of exactly how much was paid off each month or whatever, so that's just fine. So every time now that I pay $88 worth of this card, I can color in one line. I usually go in and just update this chart like once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on the situation. So I will probably be back at the end of May to do an update and show you guys how much we were able to pay off in May. As I mentioned, I anticipate it being a little bit less than usual just because we're focusing more on sinking funds right now, but even so, even if we only pay, you know, an extra $88, at least it's something. We're still on our way to getting this paid off. We're paying less in interest the more extra we pay to this, so I'm excited to be tackling this card. Hopefully we can get back on track and get back to debt snowball payments again in June. We'll see. I'll definitely update you guys on that when I do my next check-in here with the snowball as well, but for now, you know, we're going to do the best we can given our circumstances, and hopefully we'll get this card paid off sooner rather than later. So that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. You got a little bit of an update on how we're doing. I'm telling you guys, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to be, you know, a little bit longer to pay this card off, but the end is near. I can see it, so I'm excited. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss a video, and I will see y'all in my next one. Bye!